This is literally recorded probably after about 5 minutes, 10 minutes after the game's finished. I think we're a bit left in limbo after this. Don't get me wrong, given the performance and given how bad and shocking we were in most of that, about 3/4 of that game, I'm probably relieved that we didn't get beat, but at the same time, like, there seemed to be no intensity or drive, desire or anything in that first half. And I'm not saying the players didn't try, because that's one thing I cannot accuse of these players since the takeover happened last year. In general, the players have tried to a certain degree, but there was just Ipswich were battling everything and were first to every single 50-50 almost in that first half. It's not good enough. And by the way, don't get me wrong, it's after 2 games. I can't exactly judge players definitively after 2 games. Conor McLaughlin, for me, has been pretty poor the first 2 games that we've had. He wasn't particularly convincing against Oxford, and in the first half, he lost at least 3, not 1, 2, 3 50-50s in that first half. There's a couple of times when he could have gone for headers and just simply didn't want it enough. I don't know whether it's just because he wasn't trying or just because he was nervous or whatever it was. But for me, that just wasn't acceptable in the first half. And how on earth Ipswich were not 2 or 3-0 up at half-time, I really don't know. The only reason we were in that game at half-time was purely because Ipswich were wasting their chances. Based on that first half, I can see why Ipswich are going to be up there. But even then, once we got the goal and once Gooch actually equalised, we started to show a bit more passion. We started to show a bit more drive and intensity to try and win the game. And don't get me wrong, in certain aspects of our game, the performance was not very good whatsoever, because we couldn't seem to pass a ball, we couldn't seem to do a decent cross whatsoever. So I'm just, again, left in limbo. Where do we go from here? What are we going to do for next week? Because Portsmouth got their first win today, which against Tranmere, which I expected. I'm surprised it wasn't more comfortable, to be perfectly honest. But if we play like that next week again, if we play like we did throughout probably the first 50-60 minutes, first hour of that game, we will get battered against Pompey. And given what's happened between Sunderland and Pompey, if those players are dare not up for that game, then they shouldn't be playing football. Like I said, and on half-time, by the way, I was really teetering on Ross out. I was really on the edge of saying, I think I'm on Ross out. And even then, a draw to an extent papers over the cracks of how bad that performance was today. So on the one hand, I'm relieved that we didn't lose because of how shocked me. But that's probably the first 45 minutes, probably the worst I've seen us play under Jack Ross, and that's saying something because we've witnessed quite a few shocking performances. But I can't. The difference is this time a 1-1 draw away at Ipswich, in context and on its own, on paper, is not a bad result. Because again, I think Ipswich will be up there. You can tell that Paul Lambert's got the community going again. You can tell that he's got the fans on side again. You can tell that he's really sort of got them playing for each other. He's sort of reunited the club a little bit after the shambles of last year and getting relegated. But see, Oxford's the more disappointing result than this one. It just ramps up the pressure ahead of Pompey next week. We have got to win that game, and we need to start going on a winning run here, because if we don't, this could turn toxic very quickly. Right, I'll leave you there, guys. Let me know in the comments below what you think. Is it a good point? Is it a bad point? I couldn't give 2 monkeys about Accrington in midweek. Just beat Pompey, please. See you later.